Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wonder about that invisible world? How it impacts our lives? Sometimes good, sometimes not so good.
Definitely.
Today, we're diving into the fascinating and, sometimes alarming world of microbes. We've got this really comprehensive study source packed with info.
Yeah, it's quite detailed.
And our mission, really, is to pull out the most crucial bits, the really intriguing stuff for you. Make it quick but deep. Your shortcut to understanding this microscopic universe.
Exactly. We'll be covering bacteria, viruses, of course, the strange prions, parasites, fungi, the whole lot.
Right.
These tiny things are just fundamental players in, well, everything. Our health, the world around us. Grasping how they work is key.
So we want to shed some light, not just list facts, make it clear,
Yeah, get a real understanding of what makes them tick without getting totally overwhelmed.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How about we start with some familiar faces? Microbial faces, I mean.
Sounds good.
Like M. leprae, leprosy. Now, here's a weird one. Armadillos. It's often found in armadillos. What's that about?
Well, yeah, it's quirky, but it tells you something, doesn't it, about the bacteria's adaptability.
How so?
The fact it can live in another mammal like that, it hints at how diseases can hang around, maybe jump between species,
Oh, yeah.
hidden pathways,
Makes you wonder what else is connected out there.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's H. influenza. The name sounds like flu. Yeah.
Total misnomer, yeah.
But it's actually a big cause of things like ear infections, pneumonia in kids, even meningitis sometimes.
It really shows how science figures things out over time. They thought it caused the flu at first.
Oh, okay.
But its real role, much broader, respiratory stuff, other infections, shows why getting the ID right is so important for treatment.
And ulcers. Who hasn't worried about those? Often it's H. pylori. It's wild that a bacterium can live in our stomachs, right? That super acidic place.
Exactly, and for years everyone blamed stress. Finding H. pylori completely changed how we treat ulcers. Suddenly it was antibiotics, not just antacids. A total shift.
Okay, speaking of common stuff, let's clear up this stomach flu thing. People say that when they have, diarrhea, vomiting.
Yeah, happens all the time.
But the source is really clear. Those are generally not symptoms of actual influenza, the real flu.
That's a crucial distinction.
That stuff usually points to some gastrointestinal bug. And stomach flu. Not even a real medical term, apparently.
So important for knowing how to treat it, when to get help. Flu is respiratory, lungs, airways.
Right. So how do these tiny things actually cause problems?
Yeah.
Let's get into the mechanics, the battle strategies.
Okay.
For bacteria, a big one is toxins. They release harmful stuff.
Toxin production is key. But they can also cause direct damage just by growing, multiplying, or even mess with how we absorb nutrients. It's complex. Different bacteria, different tricks, sometimes a mix.
Okay, then viruses. Cellular ninjas, you call them?
Sort of, yeah. They slip past our defenses.
And get inside our cells.
Right. Hijack them to replicate. That process often damages or kills the cell. The source calls it cytopathic effects.
Cytopathic effects, got it.
But sometimes the damage is indirect. The virus triggers our own immune system to overreact, and that causes harm too.
Like a friendly fire situation?
Kinda, yeah. The cell damage, the cytopathic effects, it's like the virus turns the cell into a factory for more viruses, and the factory gets wrecked in the process.
Wow, okay then. Prions. These are just bizarre, not even alive.
Nope. Misfolded proteins.
And they make other proteins misfold, like a domino effect.
Exactly, especially in the brain. It just makes cells fall apart, basically. Fatal familial insomnia. It's a chilling example.
Fetal familial insomnia?
Yeah, a prion disease where the brain damage means you literally cannot sleep. It's devastating and unfortunately untreatable right now.
Truly unsettling.
Okay.
Parasites. Their tactics.
They can cause direct damage too, like
Yeah.
bacteria. But they're also masters of disguise, immune evasion.
Hiding from our immune system.
Or changing it, altering the response so they can stick around. And yeah, like viruses, they can provoke harmful immune reactions too.
It's amazing, the variety of strategies, all about survival within the host.
It really is a testament to coevolution.
And finally, fungi. What's their game plan?
They can make toxins too. Some release enzymes that, digest our tissues, helps them spread. And, you guessed it, they can trigger the immune system, cause inflammation. The source mentions candida,
Yeah.
Can form these long structures. Pseudohyphae helps it dig deeper into tissues. Plus, it makes those tissue-degrading enzymes.
They can switch forms between yeast and these pseudohyphae.
Exactly. That adaptability is key to why it's such a common and sometimes problematic fungus.
Okay, need to clarify something the source points out. Endotoxin. It's not the same as lipotecoic acid.
Correct. Both are bacterial cell wall bits that trigger immunity.
But different types of bacteria, right? Endotoxin and gram-negatives.
And lipotecoic acid and gram-positives. Different structures, different origins. Precision matters in microbiology.
Got it. Okay, so that's how they cause problems. But how do we even know they're there? Diagnosis. Peeking at the invisible.
3 main ways, the source says.
First is phenotypic, looking at physical characteristics.
Right, like gram stains, acid-fast stains under the microscope, classic stuff.
And using special growth media in the lab.
Differential media, yeah. See how they grow, what they metabolize. It's like a microbial lineup based on looks and behavior. Often the first step. Quick clues.
Okay. Then, genotypic methods, going for the DNA or RNA.
Straight to the source code, like using fluorescent DNA probes.
How do those work?
Imagine tiny keys that glow only when they find the exact matching lock, a specific DNA sequence from the microbe you're looking for. Very accurate, very sensitive.
Wow. Even for microbes that are hard to grow.
Exactly. Things like PCR, these probes, they've revolutionized diagnostics.
The third way, immunologic, based on immune reactions.
Yeah, looking for antibodies our body makes against the microbe, or looking for bits of the microbe itself, the antigens.
So antibodies tell you about the body's response. Antigens confirm the microbe is there.
Precisely. 2 sides of the coin. Useful when you can't easily find the bug directly.
All right, let's talk weapons. Virulence factors. The tools microbes use to cause disease.
Their specialized arsenal, yeah. Understanding these is key for diagnosis and for developing treatments to disarm them.
Okay, examples? Leukocidin, nasty one. Kills white blood cells.
Yep, kills our frontline defenders. Straight up attack on the immune system.
Then alpha toxin and streptolysin. They go after red blood cells.
Destroy red blood cells. Gruesome task, as he said.
And pyrogenic toxins cause fever, rashes.
Right. Think strep throat, S. pyogenes, or toxic shock syndrome. Those toxins cause massive inflammation, systemic effects.
Then the neurotoxins, botulinum toxin, muscle paralysis. Like Botox, but dangerous.
Exactly. Much more potent, obviously. And its opposite, tetanospasmin.
From tetanus.
Causing muscle contractions.
Uncontrolled, incredibly powerful contractions. The source is strong enough to break melons.
Yikes. That's terrifying.
Shows how directly microbes can mess with our nervous system.
Okay, this is wild. Manipulating our blood clotting. Coagulase makes clots form.
Right. Often helps tell staff apart from strep in the lab. The clot can kind of wall off the bacteria from the immune system.
But then, staph kinase dissolves clots.
Some staff make that too. It's like an on-off switch. Dissolving clots can help them spread. A real arms race.
Wow. Okay, S. pyogenes again. It makes protease. Breaks down complement proteins.
Yep. Another hit against our immune defenses. Complement is crucial.
And penicillinase. Breaks down antibiotics, like penicillin.
Produced by lots of bacteria, like Staph aureus. A major reason for antibiotic resistance. Huge public health challenge.
Okay, what else? Exfoliative toxin. Makes skin layers separate.
Leads to things like scalded skin syndrome. Does what it says on the tin.
NC perfringens. We'll see it again with food poisoning. Makes collagenase. Breaks down collagen.
Yep, the protein that holds connective tissues together. And S. pyogenes also has C carbohydrate.
Makes its little sticky fingers, fimbriae, even stickier.
Like extra strong Velcro helps it latch onto our cells. Just shows the incredible range of tools they have.
Okay, shifting to viruses. Different viruses, different symptoms. Rotavirus.
Infamous for severe watery diarrhea, especially in little kids.
And the source mentions it's double capsid, like a tough shell.
Exactly. Makes it super sturdy, hard to kill with normal cleaning. It explains why it spreads so easily.
Measles. Starts with rash, mild respiratory stuff, fever.
Seems common, right? But the complications, brain swelling, even death, it's serious.
And highly contagious. Spreads through droplets.
Tiny droplets in the air, coughing, sneezing. Why vaccination is just critical, not just for the rash, for avoiding the bad stuff.
Mumps. Usually that one-sided neck swelling.
Yeah.
Low fever.
Often, yeah. Can have complications too, especially for adult males involving the testicles.
Influenza, we mentioned it. Severe respiratory symptoms, fever, aches, cough.
Definitely respiratory. Spreads easily through droplets, even smaller aerosols. Sweeps through communities.
And the vaccine changes every year because
the H and N proteins on the surface keep changing. antigenic drift and shift. The virus keeps changing its disguise, basically. Last year's protection might not work.
Herpes viruses. Sneaky ones. They go latent, hide out.
Yeah, dormant for long periods, then reactivate causes the sores.
Spread by contact, sexually, orally.
And really dangerous for newborns. Eye infections, brain inflammation, encephalopathy.
And chickenpox and shingles. Same virus, different stages.
Exactly. Varicella zoster, chickenpox the first round, shingles is the reactivation later, shows that long-term relationship with the host.
Rubella. Maybe not serious after birth, but for a developing fetus.
Devastating. Congenital rubella syndrome, severe birth defects. Why vaccination, especially for women of childbearing age, is so important. Protects the vulnerable.
Okay, let's tackle parasites. Protozoa, worms, T. vaginalis, urogenital tract.
Right. Causes that yellowish-green discharge sometimes. But here's the thing. Maybe half the people with it have no symptoms.
Wow. Asymptomatic carriers. Makes it easy to spread, right?
Absolutely. Highlights why screening is important.
Giardia intestinalis. Found in water, soil. Causes yellow foamy diarrhea.
Yep. It forms cysts, resistant little things. Survive water treatment sometimes. Common cause of waterborne illness.
T. gondii. Associated with cats, but also undercooked meat, contaminated produce.
Multiple rats. Flu-like symptoms, often fever, swollen glands, aches, tiredness. But again, lots of asymptomatic cases. Need good hygiene, proper food handling.
Moving to fungi. Ceamitis. Lives in warm, dry soil, southwest U.S.
Right. Spores get airborne, you inhale them. Valley fever, mostly lungs, but can spread.
And ringworm, not a worm.
Nope. Fungal infection. Tinea species. Skin, hair, nails. Gets the name from that ring-like rash. Important because antifungal treatment is needed, not worm treatment.
And now for actual worms. Pinworms. Evermicularis.
Small roundworms. Mild infections, common in kids. Fecal-oral spread. Eggs can even get airborne. Easy to transmit in close quarters. Hand hygiene is key.
Hookworms and Americanus. These burrow through skin, like your feet.
Unsettling, right? Larvae burrows in, travel through the blood to the lungs, get coughed up, swallowed, then mature in the gut. Classic parasite life cycle.
W. bancrofti. Spread by mosquitoes. Causes elephantiasis.
That's severe swelling, yeah. Lymphatic filariasis. Still a big problem in tropical areas. Shows the impact of vector-borne diseases.
Guinea worm. D. metanensis. Gruesome life cycle. Drinking contaminated water.
Water fleas carrying larvae. Worm grows inside, migrates to the skin, forms a blister, emerges, usually from the feet.
And the removal, wanting to get out on a stick. Slowly.
The traditional way, painstaking. But the eradication program has been a huge success story. Shows what global collaboration can do.
Flukes. Flatworms. Need snails.
Often, yeah. Freshwater snails as intermediate hosts need the right environment, the right hosts. Complex cycles.
Tapeworms. Usually intestinal, but can end up elsewhere.
Like the brain.
Larval stages can migrate, form cysts, can cause serious neurological issues if they end up in the brain. Cook your meat properly.
And kissing bugs, transmit Chagas disease. Trypanosoma cruzi, right. Bite near the mouth, bug defecates, person rubs the feces into the bite or eye. Weird transmission, major health issue in the Americas.
Okay, let's switch to foodborne illness. Big topic. Intoxication versus infection.
Key difference. Intoxication. Ingest toxins already made by microbes in the food. Infection. Ingest live microbes that then grow in your body.
Intoxication usually faster onset. Infection takes longer.
Generally, yeah. Intoxication hits quicker because the toxin's already there. Infection needs time for the microbes to multiply.
Okay, some key players. E. coli. Mostly harmless gut residents, but some strains.
Some make potent toxins, diarrhea, cramps, vomiting. Severe cases, certain strains cause kidney damage, hemolytic uremic syndrome. Shiga toxin-producing ones are the worry.
Campylobacter, often in poultry. Very low infectious dose.
Doesn't take many to make you sick. Nausea, vomiting, classic food infection. Cook poultry thoroughly.
Salmonella, poultry eggs again. Diarrhea, cramps, fever.
Common culprit. Proper handling, cooking temps, avoiding cross-contamination are vital.
Neurovirus, responsible for about 60% of U.S. foodborne illness.
Wow. Astonishing number. Incredibly contagious. Vomit droplets. Fecal-oral route. Spreads like wildfire, especially in close quarters. Very resilient virus.
Listeria monocytogenes. Unpasteurized dairy, deli meats. Grows in the fridge.
That's the tricky part. Grows in the cold. Usually GI symptoms, but big risk for pregnant women, elderly, immunocompromised. Can lead to meningitis, miscarriage, stillbirth.
Staphylococcus aureus. Food intoxication. Often salty foods.
Yeah. Grows well if food sits at room temp, makes heat-stable toxins, quick onset nausea, vomiting, usually short-lived because it's the toxin, not the bacteria growing inside you.
Clostridium perfringens, another intoxication short-term. Diarrhea, cramps, poultry, gravies.
Often linked to food left out. Interestingly, it ferments carbs, produces gas, can cause tissue separation and serious infections, not just mild food poisoning sometimes.
And Vibrio cholerae, massive watery diarrhea, rapid dehydration, death.
Serious threat, often contaminated water, seafood, highlights the need for clean water, sanitation, especially in certain regions.
Okay, moving into some really scary territory. Brain invaders. N. fowleri.
The brain-eating amoeba. Warm, shallow, freshwater, gets up the nose, travels to the brain, usually fatal.
Primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. It's rare, thankfully.
Very rare, but incredibly severe. Caution needed with warm, freshwater activities.
An infectious dose. Sometimes incredibly low. Syphilis needs only about 57 organisms.
Unbelievably low. Helps explain why it transmits so efficiently through direct contact.
We're also seeing diseases making comebacks. Lack of vaccination.
Troubling trend. Pertussis, whooping cough. Diphtheria with that pseudomembrane in the throat can suffocate someone.
A stark reminder about vaccines.
Absolutely. Protects individuals, protects the community. Reduced coverage has consequences.
And Pseudomonas, super resilient. Resists disinfectants, soaps.
Notoriously tough, big challenge in hospitals, resists lots of things we use to clean and treat, often causes hard-to-treat hospital-acquired infections.
Let's touch on STIs and mother-to-child transmission. Gonorrhea can cause eye infections in newborns.
Serious risk during childbirth if the mother is infected. The bacteria even makes an enzyme to break down IgA antibodies, part of our mucosal defense. Screening and treatment are crucial.
Herpes, we covered the risks to newborns. Severe eye infections, encephalopathy, another risk for newborns. Group B strep, Streptococcus agalactiae.
If the mother carries it, can transmit during birth. Can cause meningitis, death in the baby. Routine screening and antibiotics during labor have made a huge difference.
Syphilis. Starts with a sore, then maybe a body rash, but it doesn't just go away.
The sore might heal, but the infection persists. Can cause serious long-term damage to heart, brain, other organs if not treated. Latent periods are misleading.
Hepatitis B.
Well,
Likely sexually transmitted, but also blood, mother to child.
multiple routes. Vaccination is key, plus safe sex, not sharing needles.
Okay, HIV and AIDS. HIV attacks. Specific white blood cells. CD4 cells.
CD4 plus T cells, yeah. The immune system's commanders. HIV depletes them, weakening the whole system over time, makes people vulnerable to opportunistic infections.
And reverse transcriptase is key for HIV replication.
Crucial enzyme. Lets the virus make a DNA copy of its RNA genome to integrate into our DNA. Prime target for antiviral drugs.
And there are different drug classes. Integrase inhibitors, fusion inhibitors, protease inhibitors.
Target different steps in the virus's life cycle. Combination therapy, using drugs from multiple classes, has been revolutionary. Turned HIV into a manageable chronic condition for many.
So when does HIV become AIDS?
Advanced stage. Diagnosed when CD4 count drops really low, below 200 or less than 14% of lymphocytes, or when someone develops specific AIDS-defining illnesses, those opportunistic infections or cancers. Means the immune system is severely compromised.
Got it. Zoonotic threats, next jumping from animals to humans. Plague, Yersinia pestis.
Classic example. Fleas from rodents bite humans. Bubonic plague is the common form from the bite. Pneumonic is when it gets in the lungs, spreads person to person via droplets.
Still a concern in some areas.
Yeah, where the bacteria and rodents exist. Treatable now, but historically devastating.
Hantavirus, carried by rodents, spread through dried feces, urine.
Inhaling contaminated dust can cause lung disease, hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, or kidney issues, depending on the virus type. Rodent control is key.
Lyme disease, Borrelia burgdorferi, ticks from rodents.
Black-legged ticks pick it up from small mammals, then bite humans. That characteristic bullseye rash is an early sign.
Can become persistent if not treated. Tertiary stage.
Yeah, can spread, cause neurological or joint problems later on. Early diagnosis and antibiotics are crucial.
Dengue hemorrhagic fever, and Zika, mosquito-borne, tropical areas.
Both. Dengue, high fever, pain, potential bleeding. Zika. Milder usually, but huge risk for pregnant women, microcephaly, and newborns.
And mosquitoes spreading further with climate change.
Expanding range is a big concern. Surveillance and control are vital.
And don't forget emily prey and armadillos, another zoonotic link.
Right. Raises questions about animal reservoirs.
Okay, darker side. Biological weapons, modifying microbes too.
Make them spread easier, cause more severe illness or death. A deliberate, dangerous misuse.
And they're categorized. Category A, like Ebola, high risk.
Highest risk. Easily spread, high mortality, major public health impact potential. Category B are moderately easy to spread, cause illness but lower mortality, still need close watching. Helps agencies prioritize.
Revisiting prions, misfolded proteins causing chain reactions, cell death.
Especially in the brain. Neurodegenerative. Kuru, linked to consuming infected tissue. And fatal familial insomnia, that inability to sleep. Unique, protein-based, progressive, fatal.
Fungal facts wrap up. Ringworm is tinea, a fungus.
Right.
And fungi cause disease how? Allergic reactions.
Yeah.
Toxins. Tissue destruction.
All of the above. Depends on the fungus, the person. From skin infections to life-threatening systemic disease. Very diverse.
Like coccidioids causing valley fever in specific climates.
Shows how environment matters for infectious disease prevalence.
Protozoan check-in, Naegleria fowleri. Brain infection from warm water via the nose.
Rare but lethal. Be aware in those environments.
Giardia intestinalis, yellow foamy diarrhea from contaminated water food.
Common cause. Clean water, good hygiene are prevention basics.
Trichomonas vaginalis,
Either.
urogenital, many asymptomatic.
High rate. Makes screening important to stop spread, prevent complications.
And finally worms. Pinworms, hookworms or roundworms, nematodes.
Correct.
Hookworms burrow through skin. And guinea worms, the twig removal method. Vivid image.
Shows the challenges, right? These diverse life cycles, transmission routes, complex relationships with humans, need different strategies for prevention and treatment.
Wow. Okay, that was a deep dive. We covered so much ground.
Absolutely. Bacteria, viruses, prions, parasites, fungi.
They make us sick. How we find them. They're virulence factors.
Foodborne illness, brain invaders, STIs, zoonotics, even bioweapons briefly.
It's incredible the diversity and impact of this microscopic world.
And understanding them, their interactions with us and the environment, it's not just science trivia. It's fundamental for personal health, public health, well-being.
Totally. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Microbes are constantly evolving, right? Adapting. And our world is more connected than ever. So what new challenges and maybe what new solutions might the future hold in this ongoing relationship we have with these tiny but incredibly mighty organisms?
Something to think about. And definitely dive deeper if any of this sparked your interest.
Absolutely. Until our next exploration here on The Deep Dive.